And hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Science Saturday stream. My name is Alex Murray, also known as AZ Axel. I'm your host for these Science Saturdays. Let me go ahead and get off this screen really fast so you guys can see stuff. I'm glad you guys like those memes. It's always a fun thing for me to be able to do. It makes the stream seem not as serious as the other streams. So, no worries there. And yes, as you can tell from the link in chat, and I'll post that link many, many times this afternoon, submissions are officially open for Season 2 of the Backyard Project. You can absolutely resubmit your character. In fact, technically, you are going to have to resubmit your character because all characters from Season 1 are going to be, unfortunately, retired. We're not going to be utilizing the submitted characters from Season 1 moving forward. Most likely, not most likely. The reason why we're doing it this way is because the new form actually gives you guys better abilities to create the player you want. So let me get this link for you guys again. There you guys go. So you can post in that link. I'll also have that in the Discord for you guys as well. And you guys can post for that. There we go. I'll make sure that's in there. So unfortunately, guys, it was a decision I had to make in terms of how we were going to handle the players from Season 1. We're going to be restarting with a better, more in-depth form. In fact, I bet you I can show it off. Hold on. I bet you I can show this off to you guys. Let me just grab an external version of the links so I don't show you guys like the actual back end of the form. Not that I think there'd be anything bad about it, but just in case, let me see if I can get this around for you guys. Hang on one second. I wasn't prepared for this, unfortunately, but now that I'm thinking about it, I should. There. All right. So this is the new form. It's going to look somewhat similar to last season's form in terms of how you guys are going to be able to do like basic character information. You're going to still be able to pick between the pictures. If you want to have a certain picture, you can still do that. You can still do your name and all that information. The changes for this year, as you can see, all my attempts at entering in my stuff has become pretty much second nature to me at this point. I know exactly what I'm doing every single time. But the changes for this year, the changes start here. So when you select either hitter or pitcher, you get specified statistics or ratings for each. So no longer do you have to make a point into each of your pitching options. You should be good to simply put points into just what you're looking to put points into. If you guys have any questions about this, please let me know as well, because I'd be more than happy to answer them. So when you guys go to something like a hitter, you're going to have all of these hitter options at this point. You're going to get 35 points to put into hitting. Once you get past this, you're going to go into other categories, such as fielding, running, and of course, defense. And now you'll finally have point tallies at the bottom of your screen. So as you enter in your character and you make it the way you want it to be made, if you go over the point cap, it's gonna scream at you instead. So hopefully you guys are able to utilize this form to be able to submit your characters. So again, you can then choose, of course, all of your running information. You'll have 30 points for running. So you'll be able to put in your running abilities. Of course, I always do that. Something like that. These are due by the 1st of November. You guys have plenty of time to worry about these submission forms. We will not be starting Season 2 of the Backyard Project until the first week of November. And that gives me time to be able to actually enter your guys' submissions, make the tweaks to the league that we need to make, because I'm going to be redoing all of the generic kids. All of the Leah Waynes and Jay Greens, who are not submitted kids, but are like the generic default kids, they are all going to get tweaked a little bit, so that way they're hopefully not as overpowered, because they were kind of carrying the league a little bit. The infielder's broken? Oh, you're right, it is. My apologies. I gotta fix that really fast. Of course, I don't have it working correctly. Ugh, good grief. No, it's not supposed to bring up catcher skill. Let me get that undone really fast. I'm guessing that I don't have it hiding the right page. Because no, infielder is not supposed to bring up the catcher abilities. So let me see why that is the case. Live troubleshooting now. This is going to be great. Okay, it's supposed to be hiding pages. All my conditions. All my hard work from the past, like, 24 hours. Alright, what page is that, technically? It's supposed to hide pages 6. That should be set up correctly. It's supposed to hide page number 6. If it's equal to infielder, hide page number 6. Don't know why that's showing up if infielder is set up. Nicely done. Nice job making your character. I know I had one job. Well, and it should be working. I'm gonna have to look into that. Yes, you can put bonus points into pitches you didn't select at all. I was about to talk into that a little bit, unfortunately, Fancy Skunk. You probably don't want to do that. Because even though you can put bonus points into a different pitch, which you absolutely can do that, I wouldn't recommend it because you don't have any base points to put into it. There's a high chance that it won't do a good job. It won't be a great pitch. So, careful if you guys do that. Yeah, and my apologies, guys. I didn't realize that the infielders were still going to catchers. That's... Oh, okay, you didn't do it. Just thought you'd ask. Oh, yeah. So you can do that. We are not going into Season 2 today, Oh Thumper. That will be starting in November. We're going to be taking a little bit of time off. We're going to be reviewing Season 1 today, so it's going to be a nice, relaxed, casual stream. We're going to be reviewing Season 1, looking at awards, doing some voting for awards as well. We're actually going to let you guys vote for 3 of the awards. And then we're going to be talking about Season 2, getting you guys the form to be able to submit characters for Season 2. Yeah, it won't let you do an infielder yet. So if you're trying to submit an infielder, let me get that fixed first. And I honestly don't know why it's still trying to show page number 6, because that's, It's set up correctly to hide page 6 when you select infielder. Because I'm assuming that if somebody makes an outfielder, it's probably going to do the same. Is it going to do the same thing if I do an outfielder? Now I've got to come back through. Let me check this real fast. Hitter. Blah, blah, blah. Blah, blah, blah. If I do outfielder, is it going to do the same thing? No, outfielder works. The link should be right there. There's the link for all you guys at this point. If I can get the infielders to work, that'd be great. Why is it not letting me do infielders? Why is it having a problem with this right now? So if it's equal to infielder, hide page 6. That's what you should be doing. Yeah, outfield works just fine. So why is it just the infielders that are having a problem right about now? I'm not quite sure. Qualtrics? It was hard enough using Jotform. I actually had to get some help to to get all this around. So to be determined, actually, in chat helped me out a lot with kind of just noodling through all that I needed to do to get this working. So I guess I gotta look into why the infielders are still having problems. Interesting. Why are infielders going to catching? Oh, that's so weird. Alright, well, if you guys are trying to submit an infielder, I will work on that and I'll try to get it working for you guys. I don't know why that of all of the... Is more pitches worse than minimum? Yes. if you're going to try to do more and more pitches, you're more likely than not going to have weaker pitches instead of stronger, fewer pitches. So if you want to have more pitches, it's absolutely up to you. That's something you can absolutely do. It's not a problem. That's not a bad thing in the long haul, but you will need to counterbalance having that many pitches, because basically not a lot of people in the MLB have Yu Darvish amounts of good pitches. Most have 3 strong pitches and a couple that they don't normally use. Yes, you could absolutely do fastball, screwball, knuckleball. However, there are hidden things put into place. Yes, there's a new sheet for submissions. There's the link right there for you to be able to do that. There are some hidden restrictions or neutralizations for some of the more special pitches. So, for example, like knuckleballs. It's harder to make a really good knuckleball than it is to make a really good fastball, and the form addresses that. So, if you think you're going to get away with a super duper overpowered knuckleball, the chances of being able to do that are not as good as you think they are. So, I'm not saying that to, reduce the amount of people who feel comfortable submitting knuckleball pitchers. I'm just saying, think about, what you'd like to throw, and if that's what you want to throw, then go for it. But, hey. Yeah, unfortunately, I can't get the infielders working yet, so I gotta figure out why the infielders are resorting to go to the catcher field. I guess what I could do is I could just have it skip to page 7. Let's try that instead. Will that work? No. Okay. Hold on. That should have worked. Hold on. Let me see if that works. Ugh. Why? Why? It was working so smoothly the last time I checked. But then again, I hadn't actually gone in. That if you copied, it has the same condition. Yeah, I double checked to make sure that it specifies whenever infielder is selected. Okay, that works. All right, so there we go. That should work. That should work. And then it skips that page. All right, awesome. All right. It's fixed, guys. It's fixed. It's fixed. You can do infielders now. Oh, I don't know why, but it didn't like me hiding the catching page is what I was trying to do. And the way that it works is that when it selects a certain thing, if you select catcher, that requires you to put infielder ratings in? Wait, what? Oh, man, I must have messed up some stuff on this form. Hold on a second, guys. If you put down catcher, it demands infielder? It does. Why does it... Oh, my... Good lordy. Ugh. You will need to submit again if you submitted one for the first form. Yeah, if you submitted a player for Season 1, you do need to submit a person for Season 2. Okay, so something didn't work with the hide pages when it equals these, unfortunately. I wonder if it's just... no, it shouldn't be those. I don't understand why they're not doing it. Oh my gosh. All right, so catchers need to be fixed as well, unfortunately. So that's great. Gotta figure out why those are not working now. Is it because they're so low on my list? No, that shouldn't be the case. And my apologies, guys. Yeah, I think the catchers and infielders must be cross-linked somehow. Maybe the page names got changed? Hold on. Page number 7 is the infielders. That's what it's supposed to be. Page 6 is catchers. It's skipping to page 7 for infielders, and that works. That works at least. Yeah, basically, if you do that, it needs to be able to show a page and then skip to a page. I betcha I could do this differently, where it'll skip to the page, and then after that's been done, it'll skip to the next page that you're supposed to go to. So if it's set to infielder, skip to page 7. If it's set to catcher, skip to page 6. And then if page 6 is filled in, let me see. And then if, let's just say, we just need to say, all right, so if catcher's point spent is greater than 1, it skips to page, that would be page number 9. Okay. Yep, exactly. That's what we're basically going to do, is when we finish a page, it's going to skip to the next page. That's important. So infielder, skip to page 7. And then once infielder points are spent, if it's greater than 1, it's going to skip you to page 9. Okay. There we go. That should work. So now if I go back to here, oh, the joys of custom work as a form has to be filled, of course. So let's fill this again really fast. Go back to the beginning, please. Back to the top we go. All right. So, fill this, please. No, refresh. Oh, did I completely bust it up now? Hold on. No, I think I'm good. So then you do that. You do that. You do that. That. You select catcher. It goes to catcher. And goes straight to bonus points. Perfect. All right. Do this. Do that. Do that. Do that. Go back. Go back. Do infielder. Infield skills. There we go. Bonus points. Awesome. Go back. Go back. Check outfielder now to make sure outfielder's working. Outfielder skills. Bonus points. Awesome. It's good. All right. Fixed. Oh my gosh. Fixed. Fixed. How bad are pitches with 3 to 5 points? Consider the ranges for pitches to be on an OTB scale of about 10 points going till about 180. So if you're only going to submit 3 to 5 points for a pitch, it's going to be probably at the best borderline unusable. Okay? It probably will not be good enough. So that form is all fixed, guys. Yes, so that would be in editor 10 to 180. And that's the thing. Some of those pitches have different scales depending upon how hard they are to utilize. So go ahead, guys, if you haven't. If you were looking to make an infielder or a catcher, those are fixed now, too. So you guys should be good to start submitting catchers, infielders, and that should be all set. Again, these links work on mobile, tablets, and desktops. So you guys can do those links. And where that link... how many have I made so far? I haven't made any yet. I was sleeping for the past 6 hours after finishing this form with you. And getting everything set up for the automatic submissions and everything else. Yes, velocity and movement does actually affect some of the pitch quality. So technically, if you only do 3 to 5 points in a pitch, you'd probably be going majorly and heavily into velocity and movement. So if you do that, you can overcome really bad pitches, but you have to put just an absurd amount of points into that. So somebody on the Discord asked, where do I go to get points, upgrade my player? This is on the Discord, by the way. We are not going to be doing upgrading players this year. That might happen next year for next season. Let's see. Explain correlations between BABIP, Avoid K, and I. So BABIP and Avoid K are the two major contributing factors to your contact. So when you go to a player's contact, so let's just take Fabtron7 here, for example. In fact, I can go ahead and show off his editor here, too. It's not a problem. So your BABIP and your Avoid K help produce your contact. So for Fabtron here, he has 196 on his BABIPs, and then his 118s are his Avoid Ks, which produces a total of 187 as contact. Now, power does actually increase or decrease that as well. So your power will be an influencer on your contact, but that's more so just on how many of your total hits are going to be home runs. So in the end, your power will actually subtract from your batting average by increasing your slugging. Yes, it's like a distant third. It mostly just takes away. It still adds to your contact as an overall. The rating will still go up as your power goes up. Hence the reason why somebody like a Jason Giambi has 68 contact, but they only have, 134 real contact, but that power of 167 is boosting it up. So he's only going to bat, see if I can get back to him or not, 287. But it'll have, he only had 5 home runs for our regular season. But, for some people, they are pure batting average. Like, who was it? Who was their person that had, like, a 380 batting average this year? Somebody in the league had a 380 batting average. It was ridiculous. Tony Gwynn. Yeah. So, Tony Gwynn is all Avoid K and contact. He's got a little bit of power, but a BABIP and Avoid K are going to be your bigger ones. BABIP's going to control how your batting average is. You broke the form? How did you break the form, Tohan? Let me know, because I'm trying to fix stuff so that way it's working correctly. BABIP controls your batting average. That's basically when you put the ball in play, how many times does it become a single, Don't put points in pitches if you aren't sure. Yes, if you need to take points out of your if you need to take points out of the pitches, let me make sure you guys can see how that works. If you do need to take those points, get those points back, there is a way to do that. So let me show off and demonstrate how to do that. And I knew this was going to take us the most amount of time in the world, and that's fine. I was prepared for this. I was prepared. So, whoa, computer, please. Yes, computer? We having a problem with this? I probably just have too many things up on my computer right now. If we submitted one a few weeks ago for Season 2, do we have to submit a new one? Unfortunately, yes. If you submitted a player when Season 1 was live and happening, I'm afraid we do need you to submit one more player. We have a new form. It has new special bonus points that you guys are allowed to use, which the first form didn't have. It has better customization as well. Let me talk about starting pitchers and relievers really fast. So when you go into your pitches, if you accidentally put points into a pitch and then decide, you know what? I don't really want a curveball, and you pop out curveball, you can see the points don't go down. But if you pop curveball back in, click the X, which cancels your rating. Those come out, you disenable curveball, you get the points back. All right? So, Tohan, if you need me to delete that submission, I can go ahead and do that. But that's how you guys can get the points back. You guys can put the stuff into your different columns or categories, and then just click the cancel your rating at the end. It should be an X. If you do that, you'll get those points back, and you won't lose those. All right? I wonder if I should enable the ability to edit your guys' forms down the road, so that way while you guys are doing this, couldn't see the X. My apologies. I don't know if you're on mobile or not. I don't know what it actually looked like on mobile. Let me see. Oh, it looks terrible. I mean, sure, it's what it is, I put no points into the infield. So as a catcher, you're gonna be just a catcher. On PC, okay. Catcher should only be receiving catcher ratings. So if you go and fill out a catcher, so let's just take a quick little run through of that. So you've gone through and done your hitting, you've gone through and done your running, and you do catcher. You're only going to get catcher fielding skills. Okay? So basically, if you want to be a catcher, you're just gonna be a catcher. You're not gonna be any other position. I actually don't have a way for you to pick multiple positions. You can pick infield, outfield, or catcher. And then you're gonna fill in your catcher information. So you're gonna go ham on your catching rating and go little to weak little noodle arm, and then that's all you get. Now you could technically put bonus points into your other infield ranges or arms, but that's a waste of points technically, so I would highly advise not to do that. But you could. I mean, I'm not going to say you can't, but you shouldn't, I guess, is the official reply. Yeah, you wouldn't want to do that because that won't help you. Any other questions at all about the form while we're talking about it and while it's in my mind and I'm refreshed on this? So yeah, anybody who's just tuning in, I need 125 points. Oh my gosh. I wish we could do 125 points. Does putting lots of points into one page give you less points on another page? For hitters, no. Just the link again? Absolutely, I can do the link. So the way it works is that batters have their points separated into each page. So there's no way to carry points over from the hitting to the fielding or from the fielding to the hitting. That's what the bonus points are for. So the bonus points allow you guys to be able to put extra additional points into any page you'd like. If you want to be a heavy defensive center fielder, you can boost up your range, your arm, and your error. If you want to be a slugger only, you can put all your bonus points into hitting. And that's where this new form is going to excel. You guys can do whatever you'd like with those bonus points, and you get 10 of them. So use them wisely. Some fields do not have the ability to have bonus points put into them. But, most of the major categories do allow that. Yes, and you get 10 bonus points for batters, 15 bonus points for pitchers. So we'll see if that makes pitchers overpowered, but pitchers have more customization they need to work with. So we thought that 15 bonus points for pitchers would be more merciful for everybody. So again, if you haven't submitted a character for Season 2, please go ahead and do that. And I hope you guys have the best of luck with your characters that you guys submit. I hope they do very, very well. We already have like 24 submissions. That's great. All right. We have, and again, Season 2 of the Backyard Project will not begin. It will not begin until the first week of November. All right? So you guys have plenty of time. You guys have plenty of time to be able to submit your players and be able to do all that. All right? So don't worry, we're not starting Season 2 next week. We have plenty of time left. So, when you guys are all done trying to critique my personal pitching 20 years I pitched, it's just so very cool. I mean, I'm going to make myself, finally. I'm going to actually make high school version of Alex Murray, which I didn't even realize that somebody from my high school had submitted my all of our stats from one of our seasons up on Max Preps. So I actually have a profile page on Max Preps, which I didn't realize I had. But yeah, I'm totally going to be making my character. So, only 10 stars used? You can use up to the maximum amount, Joker. You don't have to use only 10 stars. I mean, you can use just 10 stars if you want to. We were supposed to do our high school selves? Oh, that 95 points with wage shatters. I mean, look, yeah, age yourself up for high school. Oh, for my version of high school, Alex. Hey, now, hey, I'll have you know I batted like 420 in high school. Something like that. Wicked numbers. Wicked numbers for a charter school kid like me. Yes, I did not play like any kind of real professional high school baseball. It was purely. Hold on. Now you guys are gonna make me look this up for you guys. I got 87 hit by pitch in Little League. That's what it felt like for Little League for me as well. It was like, yeah, I'm pretty sure I got hit most of the time. Okay. I actually got onto Max Prep and edited my personage a little bit. So, here we are. So that's me. That is my profile page. So, I ended up batting, 446. My apologies. So, I batted 446 in 25 games played in high school. That was my sophomore year. I think that was my sophomore year. I think that was actually my freshman year. But, yeah, I didn't do too bad. I was a slap singles hitter who then went around and stole bases. I could bunt like nobody's business, though. I could bunt the ball down the third base line a third of the way down, 6 inches off the line every single time, and it would be just a dead ball. Just a dead ball every single time. Can bonus points take you above the max number of circles or stars? Yes, they can, Captain Tennille. There are bonus ranges beyond the default submission amounts. All right? So if you put in the max amount of stars for like power and then you put bonus points into power, you will go beyond the ability. You'll go beyond the maximum that was allowed in the first page. Now, we do calculate ranges for those, okay? So we already have those set up. We already have all of that information in the back end ready to go. So if you guys do go over the range that is on, like, you know, your hitting page, we've got you guys covered. So no worries about that. Did you ever get drafted? No, I did not get drafted. I stopped playing baseball after my senior year in high school, mostly because my eyes were terrible. My eyes are really bad, guys. Just so you guys know. Sorry if it's been asked already, but if we submitted a player from last season, do we have to resubmit the player? Yes, you do. Unfortunately, you do need to resubmit your player. My apologies about doing it all over again, but I think you guys will find that this new form is so much better than last year's form. This is so much better than Season 1's form. Yes, I'm going to make a command for that really fast. I would have been, you could have been Tommy Pham. I probably would have been, yeah, maybe. I think I would have been more like, I think I would have been more like, Gerardo Parra, I think. This form is going to be open until the first week of November and potentially into the future. Jeff Mathis. I did play catcher, actually, in my senior season. I did play catcher. My vision, I mean, it isn't so much. Oh, you're 2,550. I don't even know what my vision number is officially at this point. All I know is that I need new glasses already. And you know, there was a point in high school, like, I had been using the same glasses for, like, 7 years, and I realized, like, in my junior year of high school that I couldn't read, like, the oven LED, you know, from the kitchen table, which is, like, you know, 15 feet. I couldn't read it. It was blurry. I couldn't absolutely read it. So, I think the problem was that if I had had better eyewear, during my high school years, I actually would have done even better because I just couldn't see anything about the ball. I literally couldn't see the ball until it was halfway to the plate because I couldn't focus. I just couldn't actually have sharp focus on anything. So a lot of my hits were last second just slap hits. So a lot of it was singles. And that was my problem with high school, unfortunately, was that I just didn't take care of myself well enough. You would have done bonus points differently if you don't. I'm so sorry, Tohan. If you need to, I can delete submissions as you guys find out more information about the form. Would you say it's better to stack a stat or be relatively consistent across the board? To be honest, me and to be determined did both. I did a lot of the average ones where there were no weaknesses. He did a lot of the submission testing for people who were extremely min-maxed, we called it. And we found that both actually make about the same quality player. So you can do either or. You really can. Meanwhile, I can read stuff on signs that are really far away. Kazami, I can't even, like... I'm actually really scared that if I start to drive again... Because I don't drive anymore. My wife drives. She is... It's her car, basically. We got the car for her. I still have my own car, but I don't drive anywhere. I work from home. So every time I drive, I realize just how bad my eyesight is. Because I can't read signs. I can't... I don't see things in sharp focus, so I definitely need to get my eyes checked as soon as possible. I'm literally the blind umpire. I'm literally the blind umpire at this point. Unfortunately, I don't actually have a lot of detailed information about the backyard project, unless you're talking about a different one, Adian. And hello, Coach. We're taking our sweet time to get started today, but we also have the announcement that you can submit players now. So hopefully you guys are good. Can you delete Jonathan Jameson? Yes, I can. And that will allow you to resubmit that character. So let me get into here really fast. Alex Angel Hernandez Murray. Yeah, that's me. That's me. I'll be the crotchety old umpire down the road. That's just like, that was not a strike. 3 inches off the plate, come on. Oh, dear me. Eric Gregg. Alright, your Jonathan Jameson submission has been deleted. You can go ahead and redo that one. So if anybody else wants to redo their character, let me know. I'd be more than happy to get rid of an older submission and make a new one. Alright? I don't know the ranges of them. What determines what rating would be given for would be for a given star? Now that would be way too much information, Gucci. I'm not supposed to be giving you guys that information. If I gave you guys the information, how does one join this league? You can enter in a player. What all the viewers can do. I guess I should go ahead and do a little spiel here so I can wrap up everything that's happened. So, if you'd like to be a part of Season 2 for the Backyard Project, like everybody else who was involved with Season 1, what people were able to do in Season 1 was submit players to play in the league. So, for example, Fabtron7 is here. You've got people like Shooter McGavin is here. People like Levi Brock is here. Of course, to be determined player is here as well. It's Benjamin Abenduct, who we've been editing. We've actually been editing him in the background. But you can submit a player using the link that's in chat right now. We also will have that link in the Discord. And your player will be then drafted onto a team for Season 2. What'll happen is we will be having another fantasy draft. And I think someone asked this question down a little bit back. But what we're going to do is we're going to be releasing everybody back to free agency. And the teams are going to do a fantasy draft for next season. There are going to be more teams next year, which means I have to do more work to get more teams incorporated. So I'm going to be taking #1 overall. I highly doubt that because of the fact that we have Pablo Sanchez. Like, I'm sorry, guys, but you're not going to defeat Pablo Sanchez as the #1 overall pick. You're just not. But I love the enthusiasm, all right? I do love the enthusiasm. But I don't think you're going to take #1 overall seed away from Pablo. Just throwing that out there. But anywho, we play through an entire season after the draft, and even Abenduck didn't beat him. That's true. Abenduck still couldn't outdo Pablo as the #1 overall pick. He ended up being the #3 overall pick. Who was #2, by the way? Was that Pedro? Did Pedro outdo Abenduck? He did. Oh, man. Forgot about that. Yeah, Pedro was #2, and then Abenduck was #3. So we had our first, we had the backyard kid, the pro player, and then the submitted player. And then I'm pretty sure Jay Green was pretty close to being near the top as well. He was 7th. He would have been, I think, the first default player, unless Hellerman was better. Amanda Hellerman was really good as well. She was 4th. Okay, there you go. So we had different people for the first 4 submissions, or for the first 4 draft picks last year. We had a backyard baseball kid, the pro player, the submitted player, and then the default kid. So, yeah, that was cool. We actually had all of the different categories. All 4 of our submitted categories got 1, 2, 3, 4. So that was cool. That's true, Captain Tennille. You did go a little bit higher than even I expected you to go. You had some good, good power though. So hey, you were round 3, pick 37. So not bad. There is a link for draft history. The problem is that we're going to be having new drafts every single year. So technically, well, that, and technically we also don't have draft history because they were fantasy drafts, not first-year player drafts. So that's why. So that's why I don't get any history. But if we go back to, like, a team history, I do believe, if I go back to transaction logs, I do believe, yeah, there we go. That would be the only place that I can go to see draft history. So, for example, the Kansas City Cluckers, they drafted Todd Xavier in the first round. Kaz Cappy in the second round. Good pickup for Kaz Cappy. Jim Thome in the third round. Not a good pickup on Jim Thome. That was a bad decision. Marty Big Fly in the fourth round. Bull Green, which is Bobby Bull Green in the... wow, this team did not draft well. Parker Collum, Alan Holzman, Biggie Beltray, Yvonne Carter, Andy Lambert, Will Lene, Frankie Holly, and Vladimir Womack. They ended up getting Rufus, actually, down the road. They traded away Holly for Rufus to play center field for them, I believe. And actually did pretty well. You actually did really well, Rufus. But unfortunately, yeah, you could really use a new GM because this team did not draft well. Like, I like Kaz Cappy as your shortstop. That's fantastic. There's your leadoff hitter for years to come if you want that. But, yeah, Jim Thome did not perform well. He did not perform well at all. That strikeout percentage looks nasty. 63 strikeouts in 129 at-bats. Woo! These are entirely AI-run teams. That is correct. We monitor them, and we make sure... Rufus Rough Cut is literally... Rufus Rough Cut. That is, he made himself. Yeah, the 18 avoid K probably doesn't help. That didn't help at all. So, yeah. Yeah. Kenny Powers will be the #1 pick. I love all your guys' enthusiasm for your guys' players and all that kind of stuff, because that's really fun. I love that. I love being able to see you guys have fun. Only 6 strikeouts away from 69. Yes. Yes. I mean, I think Richie Sexton had the most strikeouts in the season at 71. No, it was Khan, wasn't it? Oh, was it really Ahmed? Yes, Ahmed Khan had the most amount of strikeouts in the league at 73. 73 strikeouts. Woo! So, one of the things that we noticed about our form from last year, guys, and this is why we redid the form, was that a lot of our submitted players did not have really bad, I mean, sure, some had bad negatives, but any submitted hitter pretty much had about 40 or more avoid K, which is too much. So a lot of our players just didn't strike out that much by default because their avoid Ks were just generally too high. So that's why we're doing this new form. And for anybody who's just joining us, I know we're going to have new people joining all the way through this evening. In fact, I got to get this command set up so you guys can get this around. I don't mind pasting this link in here every time. But if you haven't gotten your new player created, we are opening up submissions for Season 2. Season 2 submissions are available. There were a lot of really high strikeout totals, but they just weren't from submitted players. And there were a lot of pitchers who managed to get a lot of high strikeout numbers. But again, the strikeouts were all coming from, if I can go back to here, all of the strikeouts come from pro players or generic players. Shovel Bryant is the first submitted player to be on the strikeout list, and he had 52. And that's because his avoid K is 39, the lowest out of all submitted players. And that's pretty good. 52 is not bad. Andrew Fox right below him, 52 as well. Again, 44 avoid Ks. But again, Andrew Fox was more of a speed and defender. Hence the reason why he only had a negative 0.5 when he had a 189 batting average. So, and this new form is going to fix that, all right? This new form, you separate out points between speed, defense, and hitting. That's the bias of the OTP community. Yes. But basically, guys, you can see there's a huge gap between, the people who are really bad at striking out, like Billie Jean Blackwood, 65, Ahmed Khan, 73. You got Mo Vaughn, Richie Sexton up around 70s. Even Phil Nevin, Sammy Sosa, Troy Glaus around 60s. And then you go all the way down to low 50s, and that's our submitted players. And then you go around to qualifying hitters. If you go qualified hitters, Amelia Connolly only had 10 strikeouts for the entire season. Jay Green had 15. Tuck Eddy and Dandruff both had 12 and 13. The numbers are just ridiculous. Goffinen only had 19. McBourbon only had 17. Some of these people have really good stuff. Yeah, Gross, 28. So, of course, a lot of our on-base percentages are ridiculously good. They're ridiculously good. General idea of how certain stats are affected. Alright, so let me get both of those questions answered. Yeah, I don't want to tell you guys too much about how the form impacts the player ratings. The way it works is that there are ranges that are applied to those star amounts. And for most people, no. For most submissions, no. For all submissions, if you have 1 star in a category, it's not going to be good. Okay, that's pretty much a given. I know that's pretty much a given. Please delete Huron Jones. Can do. I'm guessing that's a brand new submission. Make sure I have that. There he is. If you put anywhere between, I would say, 7 to 12 stars, for most of the larger categories, you should be good. Make sure I get this right here. So do you want me to just edit Huron Jones? I can just edit Huron Jones if you'd like to. If you'd like me to change that, I can. I can make him a right-handed throwing person if you'd prefer. Otherwise, he's probably going to go play first base. one is never going to be good. There is never a category that one is a good amount to put into the category. There's always going to be it's always going to be a weakness if you put 1 star into a category. Make him right-handed throwing. Can do. Let's edit this. Let me see. I've got to get. Sorry, guys, for all the confusion and delays, but I do want to make sure that we do this correctly before I have any problems. So let me just make sure that I can view this really fast. How do I should be able to view this. Okay, I've got to go back to the other part, don't I? I do. All right. How do I say this? Are we allowed to keep our players the same and carry them over to Season 2? No. So, unfortunately, no. We will not be carrying over anybody from Season 1 to Season 2. Just because of the fact that the first form had some major flaws that I don't want to carry over if possible. And that's just me being picky. My apologies about that, but that's just me being picky. There he is, Huron Jones. I need to edit this guy really fast. But this makes players much more balanced, and then the bonus points make it so that way you guys can have a whole lot more control, which I like. I like the idea that you guys get more control over your players, you get more control over what they are going to be like, how they're designed, and that's just so much better than generalizing everything and then just hoping and praying it comes out well. Sure, there's still going to be some stuff that has to come out well. Don't get me wrong. There are still going to be some things that have to... Whoop. Hold on. I might have found a problem. Let me see. I mean, those don't get used, I don't think. And they also don't get, repost the form? There you go. There you go. I think I forgot about... No, those shouldn't have showed up at all. Oh, no, you guys don't... Never mind. I'm freaking out here because I'm seeing stuff that's the back-end work, and you guys shouldn't be entering in numbers, but you're not, because that's the form entering in the numbers for me. So, no duh. I'm not going crazy. I'm not. Trust me, I'm not going crazy. Okay, can I just have that applied? Why does it make me want to do that? Ugh. Don't know why it wants me to do this now. Alright, I will make a mental note to change that. I'll make a mental note to change your character to throw right-handed. Because it wants me to make some major changes and then change your pitching stuff as well, which I don't need to do your pitching stuff. I notice pitchers don't get hitting attributes. Are we moving to DH? No. All of the pitchers are going to get generic hitting abilities. So all of the pitchers will get default hitting abilities so they don't completely suck. Change to right-handed. And I'll make sure that gets done when we get that player brought into our system. Questions. I know we had questions. I'm so sorry, guys. I'm all over the place today. The other questions were... So we wanted to talk a little bit about... Okay, so Gucci asked the question, and I'll answer this really fast. So if I have a rating at the maximum star total, what will the bonus points do? The bonus points will go past that star level. There are additional star levels beyond that we don't allow people to enter in manually, but if you do bonus points after having a maximized star level, there is a range that it will go into. So you can go beyond the star level, all right? You can go beyond the star level. You can. So if you want to make a power hitter and then even add bonus points to your power hitter, you can do that. You absolutely can. let me see. How do I explain for Kazami how to explain the back end work without explaining the back end work? Because I don't want to talk about the back end stuff unless I don't want to talk too much about the back end stuff if I can help it, because technically that's the back end stuff, and I don't want to give away any information that you guys might be able to utilize that makes it way too easy to make a good player. But I mean, we've been testing it to make sure that it's not possible to like just abuse this. Not that we abuse the last form, but this form is much more strict, and it's not going to have as many problems. And I like this form a lot better. Did the Science Saturday on making a Fader League make it to YouTube? I actually don't know. I thought it did. I thought the Feeder League video was like episode 3 of our Science Saturdays, I believe. Was that 3 or 4? I think it did make it onto the OOTP YouTube. Would be cool if returning players could get a random +2 to an attribute. That's something I thought about, but this form is already giving people 10 bonus points. Your players are going to be better than they were last year. Trust me. They're going to be better than they were last year, because you guys get a whole lot of more control on these on these players. Are any hitting penalty for choosing Switch as a hitting site? No. No. This form is going to make characters much more balanced, and you can still go into the ones on some of the categories, and you can still do a pretty decent job. So don't feel bad about trying to do that. Want to make certain archetypes more so than trying to make OP players. Yeah, and that's what I was trying to also work through, Kazami, was like the idea of like, okay, so I want to make sure that people, you know, I want to make sure that the form allows people to make customized, specialized characters in certain areas and not dissuade that. So it was hard. I didn't want to like adjust too many of the star ranges, but certain categories, certain just certain fields are more valuable than others. So if you put more points into, say, home run power or avoid K, those have a bigger impact on your player than gap power or eye patience. So we adjusted the ranges of stars to reflect that. So as long as so the best way to view it is that the ranges of stars for every single category, and I make a huge asterisk here because technically pitchers do not get this applied to them. This only works for batters. But every single category for batters, BABIP, avoid K, gap power, home run power, view every single one of those ranges as 1 star means 10, the max star means 200. Okay? So that's how you guys should view those. So if you go halfway up the stars, you're probably going to get about 100. If you go 3/4 of the way up the stars, you're going to get about 150. And that's good. That's not bad at all. Pitchers are different because pitches do not have that applied to them. We went with the opposite approach to pitches. Basically, what we did with pitches is we changed their ranges, and I probably shouldn't be mentioning that, but I will anyways, because I think it's okay. Pitches are adjusted on the back end, so that way if you put maximum points into a knuckleball, you're not getting a 200 knuckleball, because a 200 knuckleball is so much better than a 200 fastball. Trust me, it is. Or a 200 splitter. It's considered the best pitch in the game. So I had to nerf it a little bit, otherwise people would just submit knuckleballs. It made sense. So for your pitches, you're going to want, for pitchers, it's very different than hitters. For hitters, again, 1 star is like, I think it's 20, actually, and then the maximum stars is 200. So that should give you guys an idea of what the stars will go between. Same thing for fielding, and same thing for running. Alex hates knuckleballers. No, I don't hate them. We just had. Do you guys know how many submissions people picked the crazy ball for season 1? Do you guys know how many people, how many pitchers submitted a knuckleball pitcher? Like, seriously, we had so many knuckleball pitchers. It was not funny. I mean, it's funny. It was funny, but let me see if I can get this. Oh no, all players. So we only had. In fact, I should probably go to here first. Submitted players, defaults, pitchers. We only had 18 pitchers submitted. Out of those 18 pitchers, 7 of them picked knuckleball. The rest of them pretty much picked screwball. Well, no, technically, Abendut got changed. But yeah, he was a knuckleball pitcher, too. So, 7 of them picked knuckleball. It looks like about 6 of them picked screwball. Nobody picked forkball. Nobody picked circle changeup. Nobody picked knuckle curve. Nobody picked cutter. Nobody picked a sinker. So, unfortunately, and I think some of these didn't actually have, I don't think some of these actually had abilities to be able to pick, to be picked. But everybody went with knuckleball because it was way too good. A 150-point knuckleball was really, really good. That was easily your best number 3 pitch. So we had to get away from that. We just had to. We had to get away from all of the knuckleball pitchers because it was becoming a bit of a problem for the league. So, yeah. There's that, guys. There's that. That's why we did it. So, to answer your question, Kazami, for batters, consider every single one of the hitter ranges, minimum, 20 up to maximum 200, and then average it out as you go up and down. That's pretty much what you can do for that. For pitchers, technically Abendut did not have a screwball. We've been, this is actually Abendut reworked with the new form. This is what he would have submitted if it had been Season 1, and he had tried to do it with Season 2's form. This is what he would have submitted. Which would not have been as good, because technically his original submission was much, much better. The game had an EFIS, I'd do that. If the game had an EFIS, I would totally have it as an option. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. 0 cutters, no Mariano Rivera clones. Nope. We didn't have any Mariano Rivera clones. The Knuckleball Revolution begins now. I mean, sure, you guys can all do Knuckleball pitchers now just to spite me if you want to. But, hey, I'm not sure that would be a... I'm not sure that would be a great idea. I'm just saying. Oh, good, and thank you so much, Dishnet, for getting that, that command around for that. Awesome, awesome, awesome. I hope that works. Yeah, there we go. Okay, can you delete Arnie Arneson? Absolutely I can. I'll let you resubmit that player. We're up to 66 submissions, ladies and gentlemen. 66 submissions. Let me get that edited a little bit here now. Never satisfied. Oh my gosh. Walnuts here. All right. Let me see. You wanted to get rid of... Now we're at 74 submissions. Who was it again? You wanted to get rid of Arnie Arneson. Hold on. I gotta find Arnie now. I wonder if it's one of the brand new ones. Hold on. Let me refresh really fast. I fear my player may be way too skewed. Well, we'll find out. We shall see. I'm going to submit mine. Yay! Please do. Please do. Alright, hold on. I gotta look up your name now. Where's Arnie? There you are. 46 minutes ago. Alright, Boogeyman has been deleted. You may resubmit your player. I'm converting my guy into a pitcher. Nice. Nice. PP giveaway if your player wins MVP or Cy Young. I can't guarantee that, but maybe? Maybe? I could think about that. Hey, there's Dishnet's submission. Very nice. Only Zarianova is here. Very nice. Nice. All right. So, while people get those submissions done, and you can type in the chat ! backyard submit to be able to get that link form. The link for the form, if you guys want to be able to submit more players, or I'm sorry, if you haven't submitted a player, my apologies, and want to get a player submitted, you can do that. And yeah, we're at tons and tons of submissions already, so that's great. That's fantastic. Yeah, and where is Rich Grisham when you need him, huh? All right. Now, I mentioned that I had links to share with you guys. Not just one. I have 2 links to share with you guys. So, if you guys want to, I have another link. This link is for the awards. We are going to be voting today on the Batter of the Year, Pitcher of the Year, and Twitch Chat's Pog Name of the Year for our league. And you guys can be able to vote on those if you'd like to. I think that voting is optional to be started now at this point. I think he's fine. I think they're just fine at this point. And if you'd like to have a chance to be able to... You want run 3 weighted runs created plus for MVP? I mean, I looked into it. So some of these actually do have WRC plus adjusted for them. So, for example... Let me see if I can get to these people. You guys are really going to make me do this, aren't you? You guys so totally are. So, I actually was looking at batters with that rating turned on, because I wanted to see stuff like the runs created, adjusted, and all that kind of stuff. But anywho, you guys can vote. You guys may be allowed, you guys are allowed, to vote on our awards for the season. We just finished the season. So the WRC plus, Jay Mills is first, Ken Griffey Jr. is second, Luke Guffanen third, Pablo Sanchez fourth. Technically, Leah Wayne is fifth. I don't include her. What limits you? The voting form? The voting form, I think it limits you. I don't actually know. I don't actually know. Oh, it doesn't. Hold on. Now it's limited. It is limited now. Oh my gosh. There are no write-ins, unfortunately. I'm sorry, guys. There's no write-ins. You guys can look at the statistics. I'll have the players up on screen as well if you guys want to look at those. I'm 37, cannot vote for All-Star sensation Alex Gonzalez. Oh my gosh. I'm actually really surprised that nobody's voted for Eric Gagne. What about Alex Murray? Alex Murray did not have a good season. He really did not. My character did not have a good season, regretfully. So if you guys want to vote on this form, I'll put it back in chat as well for you guys to be able to do that. You guys can vote on this form. Anti-MVP? Well, the anti-MVP is like, like Cindy Chang. Yeah, there are some better people for anti-MVP. There are some really bad people. Billie Jean Blackwood, negative 1.3 WAR. Let's go to all players really fast. Kathy Wolf, negative 1.2. If we go back to here... Yeah, the Giants' defense was terrible. So yeah, Billie Jean Blackwood, negative WAR. Wait, why was Abinduct? Oh, is that hitting? Hold on. Not batting stats. I want, well, that's technically batting stats. So yeah, sure. Technically, Abinduct's hitting was terrible. But Alex Gonzalez, negative 1.0. Kathy Wolf, 1.2. Billie Jean Blackwood, 1.3. That negative WAR is just for just for hitting, I'm afraid. So no. If we go to pitching staffs, negative 1.8, Mickey O'Connor. Negative 1.7, Jerry Mahoney. Negative 1.4, Isaac Drummond. So there are your anti-MVPs, ladies and gentlemen. Almost a negative 2 WAR for some of these players. On the pitcher bonus totals, why isn't velocity an option? I don't remember what the logic behind that was, but we decided to not allow velocity to be bonus points. And I don't remember why exactly we decided that, but that was what we decided to do. So if you need to adjust your player, you can go back and change your ratings to reflect that. Yeah, there's basically a velocity limit. Oh, that's right, because there's not enough options in the game to do velocity to actually have bonus points. Yeah, exactly. If you chose a +5, it would have broken the form. That's right. So there are not enough options in OTP to actually have a +5 range on top of what we wanted to do originally. Otherwise, you guys would only be able to go up to a certain point, and then you would have to put in bonus points to get, like 100 miles per hour, which just seemed off. It was an option, but we decided to go against that. So, I mean, technically, you could put in max velocity and then max your fastball and see how good it is. You're probably going to have like a 250 rated fastball at that point. It's going to be ridiculous. But to put that many points into velocity and fastball is going to take away from other parts of your character. So, again, got to make sure you're careful about that. All right, let's take a look at the results so far for the voting. We've got 33 votes so far for our awards. And again, we're going to be talking a little bit about these different people. Did any other pitches get nerfed or just knuckleball? Unfortunately, most of the pitches got nerfed. Because when you have a pitch, basically what happened was all of the pitches got nerfed about 30 points. Because a 200 rated pitch is just too good. Alright? A 200 rated pitch in OTP is almost flawless. Regardless of your movement, ground ball ability, 200 is just too good. So most pitches start with a 30 reduction, and then it gets worse and worse from there as you go down the list till you hit knuckleball. All right? So I'm not going to give you guys any information beyond that because I want you guys to submit what you want. But think about the pitch you're trying to select. Is it a specialty pitch? Is it rare? If it's rare and not a lot of people can throw it very well, it's probably going to be harder to throw. All right? You'll probably have to put more points into it. So don't try to put 4 points into knuckleball and expect it to be good. Because it won't. It just won't. If you're going to go into knuckleball, go big into knuckleball. That's all I'm going to say. If you're going to go big into fork balls and screwballs, which not a lot of people throw those, you got to go big. You got to go big. My pitcher's going to be awesome. Yes. See, that's the confidence that I want. I submitted for next season. Awesome. Nicely done. Let me see what we're up to now on the submission at this point. I know we're not supposed to be sitting here just doing submissions because we've got a lot of stuff to talk about today. And we have awards to cover and a bunch of other stuff. Was there somebody else who wanted me to delete a submission? My apologies if I'm missing chat, guys. I'm so sorry. This chat is probably one of the more active chats we have for our streams. So if you wanted me to delete your player and I have not gotten to that yet, I haven't noticed it, please let me know. When can we see our players in game? That will be for Season 2. We'll be releasing, I'm probably going to be waiting until later in October before I will be creating all these players. I may start sooner, but I have to do a lot of work, guys. Trust me. I have to do a lot of work to get everything around for Season 2. I need some time. So, November 7th is going to be our launch of Season 2. There will be expansion teams. There's going to be redone generic kids. All of the generic kids, like Mickey O'Connor, Peter Levine, people like Jay Green and Leah Wayne are going to get redone. They're going to get changed slightly to better reflect some more personality and some different results because there was a lot of really good generic kids. There were too many good generic kids, basically. So there's going to be some work there. Hopefully Pablo performs more like Pablo's coming season. He actually didn't do that bad. Like, Pablo, technically, is on the MVP ballot. He still batted .321 with 11 home runs and a 2.3 WAR. So, you know, he didn't have a bad season. But I do love the ranges of votes for the different awards we have here, guys. And if you haven't gotten your votes in for awards, here is the link for the awards that we're going to be talking about. Could you delete Charles Brown? Absolutely. Yeah, I probably should have mentioned that a little bit sooner. But let me get Charles. All right, Sergeant Mushroom, that has been deleted. You are good to submit that again. I'm in and out trying to prepare a brisket. Oh, that's right, T-Rexus. That's right. You wanted me to delete... Oh, man. Brisket sounds really good, actually, right about now. Which player did you want me to delete, T-Rexus? Let me see if I can find your original post where you mentioned the name about who you wanted to redo. I mean, I bet you I can find your player. Oh, gosh. Rufus. Rex Fuller, that's who it was. I don't think I'll do a team from that place. Just saying, I don't think I'm gonna do a team from that place. Oh, I think I already got your person. Yeah, I think I already did get that T-Rexus. I don't see him on my list, so I think you're good to submit him again. Let me see. With enough user submissions, why would you need generic kids? We need generic kids because at the end of the day, there's a sense of competition. And basically, the amount of submissions I would need to make the league work without generic kids is immense. Basically, the generic kids, we have 88 generic kids that were submitted. And technically, that was pretty good because it balanced out everything else. Because we ended up having 76 submitted players. We had 48 professional baseball players. And we had 30 kids. So if you add the kids and the generic kids, because those are all of the backyard players, that's 118. And that's pretty decent. But the amount of submitted players I would need to get rid of the generic kids would have to be like 250. And that's a lot. That's just a lot. So we need an equal distribution of positional players. And that's also why I have generic kids, Captain Tennille. Because basically, if I leave it up to submissions, there may be like a really low amount of catchers or, shortstops. So I'll probably give you guys updates on what positions people have more of and what we're seeing a large amount of. You kind of want to redo your player now? Sure, Tim. Sure, Tim. What player do I need to delete for you? If you guys have to delete your player down the road... Actually, I've got him. Tim Gross. Move trash. There you go. All right, you're good to go, Tim. You can resubmit that. Oh, thank you, guys. I really appreciate that. There's a lot of work involved to make this work. But, hey... what positions were underrepresented in submissions? Last year, we did not have that many shortstops, in all honesty. Shortstops were really, really hard. And relief pitchers, yes. We had... Guys, you don't realize how many relief pitchers we had in total for the season. Like, I went to do like, oh yeah, let's do a reliever of the year award. And I went to relief pitchers and I went, let's see, I went to I mean, technically we have a lot here. There's 56. But if you go to qualified pitchers, these are the people that the game thinks are qualified to be relievers. That's 16 kids. 16. That's not even close. So, yeah, relievers. We need more relievers, guys. There were only a handful of good relievers, and then everybody else was just negative 1.8, negative 1.7, negatives, 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 negative. You get the picture. It was bad. Like, there was literally Eric Gagne, and then 50 feet of crap. That's basically what it was. There was nobody good for relievers. I mean, Nick Jai and Amir Khan and Eric Gagne were the bright spots. And Rex Fuller. Those were like the three, maybe like, I guess there were a couple more. Ray Tron was also up there as well. But there were about maybe, again, only about 8 or 9 people actually did a good job as a relief pitcher. So, we definitely need more relievers. So, yeah. Blue King? Absolutely, I can delete that really fast. Oh, all one word, or is it 2 words? Let me try blue. Blue King, there you are. Alright, Blue Note. That's been deleted. You can resubmit that if you'd like to. Nice to see Gagne living up to his legacy. Absolutely, it's nice to see Gagne living up to that legacy. The man was a beast. So, speaking of which, let's move into our next segment for the stream, guys. And again, if you haven't voted on the awards, if you haven't voted for the awards for the year, we have 40 submissions already. We're going to be allowing people to, let me see if I can get back to the, yeah, I want to see this real fast. There we go. If you want to vote for who you believe is the best player of the year, for batters, for pitchers, and then our Twitch chat's Pog name of the year. If you're ready to vote, go for it. There is your guys' link to vote. If you have not submitted a player for Season 2, type into chat !backyard submit, all one word. You guys can enter a player in for Season 2. That'll be starting on November 7th. And let's go ahead and get started for these awards, guys. I think we're finally ready to actually get the stream going a little bit now. So, award voting for the season. We will be having, technically I need to change this from starter of the year because it's actually pitcher of the year. So hold on one second. That's supposed to say pitcher of the year. Pitcher of the year, which a reliever is allowed to win it. We're going to do Silver Sluggers and Gold Gloves while the awards get submitted by players. So as you guys get your votes in for who should be winning these awards, we have the top 5 up and ready to go. Let's talk about Silver Sluggers and everything else. So, for Silver Slugger, for the pitchers category, it's probably going to be either Jay Green or Leo Wayne. Jay Green had a 1.9 WAR. Leo Wayne had a 1.8 WAR. So what do you guys think? We've got Leo Wayne and Jay Green. Now, Jay Green had more home runs, more stolen bases, but he had a worse batting average, a worse OBP, and a worse slugging percentage. And he had a worse WRC+. Now, Jay Green is probably going to... let's see. Wayne, higher average. I mean, Wayne technically has the lower WAR, but she has the higher WRC and the better batting average, slugging percentage, and on-base percentage. So let me guys know who you think should be winning the Silver Slugger Award. Since there's such a shorter reliever shortage, why don't you just lower stamina to modern-day amounts and let everybody optionally submit a reliever with their primary player? That way you can fill up the relief corps. That is an option. Mushroom. We've thought about that. The second option for us to think about is actually just to allow more generic kids to be submitted to fill more of those relief pitching roles. There is an option there to do that as well. But we're kind of hoping that more people will submit relief pitchers this year. Now that we know exactly what the league looks like, I'm hopeful that more people will realize that there actually is a need and a really good reason to submit a good relief pitcher. So we'll see what happens. I'll see what happens with the form. If we need to, I may give people like a secondary form that's just for relievers, and you can submit a second relief pitcher if you haven't. But we'll see. People saying Jay. There's 2 more votes for Jay. I should have made a voting category just for this, but I didn't think about it. I think we have to go with Jay Green. Even though Leah's been really good for the season, I think Jay, with his clutch hitting, he had a couple of really good at-bats where he basically just took over. And I think that's probably what we have to do at this point, is we have to have Jay. All right. For catchers. For the catching position, we have Dandruff at 1.6 WAR, 333 batting average. We have, 1.8, Cade Munson. 8 home runs. Had the big homer for the Memphis Kings in the World Series, or the one championship game. We're going to run through this for every single position really fast and try to do it as quickly as possible. Piazza had a 2.0 WAR. I think Piazza's probably our best person for this one right here. You just can't beat 387, 396, 606 with 7 home runs and a 180 weighted runs created plus. Like, seriously, I don't think, I'm afraid it has to be Mike Piazza. It has to be Mike Piazza. Even though Ivan Rodriguez had a pretty good season at 0.2 WAR and a really good defensive ability, you just can't beat Piazza and his offense. For Silver Slugger, yeah, it's got to be Piazza. For first base, let's see, we have Jay Mills, 2.6 WAR, 366 batting average, 477, 707. That's looking pretty good. 2.0 for Mike Fabic. Nice. Fabic representing, and even Tim Gross, 1.6, but that 2.6 from Jay Mills was just ridiculous. 228 weighted RC plus. That is something else. So yeah, Jay Mills definitely going to be our first base Silver Slugger, unfortunately. Or fortunately, I don't know what you guys think about that. Maybe relievers should get bonus points to incentivize users to create them. Well, technically, relievers don't have to have a third pitch. So, relievers are actually much easier to create. Second base. 1.6 for Zenon Estrada. 1.7 for Debbie Nagasawa. 2.2 for Greg Peters. Oh, man. Well, that's an easy one. Greg Peters. Greg Peters gets the nomination right there. Yeah, Fabic, you had a good year at first base. You actually were vying for potential votes in the Batter of the Year award. Actually, you are. You are on the listing for Batter of the Year award. You're up there with Luke Gofanen, Pablo Sanchez, Jay Mills, and Ken Griffey Jr. So, yeah. So you actually are as a candidate for Batter of the Year, which is interesting. You were so quiet for most of the season, Fabic, that you just were so consistently good, though. It was impressive. All right, third base. Are we thinking, let's see, we've got Kirk Reeder, 1.8, 1.5, Brooklyn Beatdown, 1.6, Stephanie Morgan. Wow. Stephanie having a season. But I think it's got to be Kirk Reeder. I think the Memphis Kings and Kirk Reeder with her 163 weighted runs created, 347, 420, 520. The homers definitely were not there, but I think Kirk Reeder gets definitely gets the third base Silver Slugger, I think. I mean, yes, Fabtron, I see it. Fabtron's not bad. 1.3 WAR, 133 weighted runs created plus, 321, 327. But at that point, Brooklyn Beatdown is a little bit better. I mean, if you wanted homers, we also have Shovel Bryant, who led the league in home runs with 14. a 144 runs created. You got Stephanie Morgan, 361, 430, 474. A 1.6 WAR. But it's got to be Reeder. Reeder just had everything this season. 16 doubles leading the league, 346 batting average, the 420 on base percentage, 520 slugging percentage, the 1.8 WAR, the 154 OPS plus, 42 hits at 127 at bats. Like, it would not surprise me if Reeder wins Silver Slugger and potentially also Gold Glove. So whoever submitted Kirk Reeder, I think you're definitely going to be getting some stuff there. So unfortunately, I think it's got to be Reeder. I would give a close second place to Stephanie Morgan, Brooklyn Beatdown, Shovel Bryant, and Fabtron. Like, those are all pretty close. But we'll see what happens about that. All right, shortstop. Kaz Cappy's got a 2.3. She wasn't really... Kaz wasn't really more of a... wasn't really an offensive shortstop. That was really a defensive shortstop. So we'll see what happens there. I mean, technically the stolen bases were definitely really good. So we'll see about that. Anywho, shortstops. Joe Slobotnik, 1.8 WAR, the 125 runs created plus, 340 batting average. Not very much on the slugging, but definitely had the batting average around this season. Cal Ripken Jr., 1.7 with a 137 weighted runs created plus. Oh, that is lovely to look at right about there. 508 slugging for Cal Ripken Jr. He had 5 home runs and 12 doubles. Great season for Cal. On the other end of the platform, we've got, I mean, it might have to be Kaz Cappy. 23 stolen bases. Even though Kaz only batted 295, 419. 419. Good grief. That 419 is the best in shortstops. So it has to be Kaz Cappy. It has to be Kaz Cappy. I know you guys want to vote for Alex Gonzalez. He had a negative 1.0 WAR, though. Okay? So... oh my gosh. But yeah, Kaz Cappy is going to win that. Look at this. We've had so many submitted players. Jay Mills is a submitted player. Greg Peters is a submitted player. Reeder's a submitted player. Kaz Cappy's a submitted player. I love it. Absolutely love it. Luke Gofanen, 2.1 WAR, 193 weighted runs created. Let's see if anybody else got close. Tanya Uchida got close. 172, 1.4 WAR. But that's it. So it's going to Luke Gofanen. Luke Gofanen has won Silver Slugger for left field, I believe. That was pretty easy, in all honesty. That was a pretty easy choice. There really isn't anybody else. Maybe Annie Frazier, but it's really just Gofanen. Another reason why the Memphis Kings were so good, Gofanen had an amazing season in left field for them. Very nice season for him at this point. All right, center field. Pablo Sanchez, 2.3 WAR, 190 with the weighted runs created plus. Right up there next to him, Tony Gwynn Sr. Oh my gosh, Ken Griffey Jr. I didn't even notice him. 2.9 WAR, 206 weighted runs created plus, 366, 430, 672. It has to be Griffey. I mean, that's even over people like Pete Wheeler, Pablo Sanchez, Chico Pappas, Star Moonbeam, Levi Brocht, or Broche. Yeah, it's got to be Griffey. Yeah, it's got to be Griffey. I mean, seriously, who on earth would not pick Griffey? I mean, even with Wheeler's, 21 stolen bases and the, really good defense that Wheeler brings to the table, it's got to be Ken Griffey Jr. At least I was Productive War. Yay! Productive War. We love to see that at least. All right. Last but not least, right fielders. And I'm not seeing that many good options here. I'm not seeing many good options at all. We've got Fred Benson at 0.9. Vladimir Guerrero, 1.0. We've got Raul Mondesi, 0.9. Sammy Sosa, 1.1. Larry Walker, 1.0. I mean, in all honesty, I think it has to be Sammy. I think Sammy was probably the, well, no, Vladdy had the better, WRC. We can give it to Pablo. Yeah, let's make Pablo right fielder really fast. I mean, I think slamming Sammy has to be the choice here. Either him or Vladdy. What do you guys think? Sammy had better batting average and on-base percentage, but Vladdy had better pop with his 10 home runs. EVC had a 136. That's not bad. I'll take a 136. Eric Von Coln from the Mythics. Good season, batting 300. I think it's got to be Vladdy because of the slugging percentage. 577. He was by far the best left fielder or right fielder for slugging. Yeah, I think it's got to be Vladdy. Yeah, and if anybody encompasses a silver slugger, it's got to be Vladdy. So that's going to be our silver sluggers voted for. Give all the awards to Memphis. I mean, technically, that's a beach cap. That's a captain right there. We've got a captain. You know, that one's an Apollo because it's Ken Griffey Jr. Gofanen, that's a Memphis King right there. Shortstop went to Kaz Cappy. That's a Cluckers player. Third base went to Reeder. That's also a Memphis Kings player, unfortunately. Second base went to Greg Peters. That's another Captains player. First base went to Mills. That's a Robins player. We didn't even talk about the Robins at all. Catcher went to Mike Piazza. He was a Portland Pioneers player. So we've got diversity, guys. And of course, Jay Green is a Duck. So we've got our diversity at least. So check that off the list. Hey. Memphis won the entire thing. You don't have to worry about any bragging about that now, all right? No worries about that. All right. Gold Gloves. Let's take a look at this really fast now. I'm seeing Tom Glass is a pretty interesting candidate. Leo Wayne had a good season as the pitcher spot, if you want to consider that. Holly Franklin had a great efficiency. I mean, the problem is that there are not that many play opportunities, so it really doesn't matter. Like, seriously? I don't really know who's going to be... There's just three PO play opportunities, I believe, or putouts. These people are making, like, just a couple of attempts. There's no way I'm going to be able to know who is the better fielding pitcher by 3, or is that something else? Because they have 21 assists here. I think it's got to be Leo Wayne. I think Leo Wayne gets our Gold Glove for pitcher, and I'm going to move on from that category because that category, pitchers are rough. Home of the historical Bass Pro Shop Pyramid. Oh, good grief. Yeah, she had quite the ZR, so that was good. All right, catcher time. So, who was the best fielding catcher? We want to look at a little bit of zone rating, a little bit of efficiency. The caught stealing should help. I mean, yeah, it's probably going to be Pudge. In all honesty, it's probably going to be Pudge. Oh my gosh, yes, it's Pudge. 2.73 catcher ERA, 45% caught stealing percentage, an efficiency of 1.340, a 1.8 zone rating, a 12.04 RF, which I don't remember what that is now. Range factor. My apologies. I remembered it last second there. Yeah, that's all for Ivan Rodriguez. I mean, sure, you can make a statement that maybe Mikey Thomas gets a chance, but the efficiency is not that good. The range factor is not as good. The catcher ERA, he was not the better catcher. He was a good arm, but definitely has to be Pudge. It has to be Pudge. First baseman. All right, first base is going to be a little bit tougher. I'm already seeing a lot of favoritism towards Ricky Johnson, though. 6.9 range factor is not that great, but the 3.7 zone rating, 1.141 efficiency, I don't see anybody close. No, it's gotta be Ricky Johnson. I mean, sure, you could make a case for Andy Greenberg. I could see that. They both had flawless, airless seasons. 15 to 13 double plays, 20 to 16 assists. The zone rating is very close, 3.1 to 3.7. 7.69 range factor. Actually, I'm going to go with Greenberg. Greenberg it is. Although that then makes Fabic look even better. Although, no, his zone rating's not as good. You got to have that zone rating up around 3. And Naomi had one minor little error that probably keeps her out because her efficiency goes down. I think Greenberg wins this just by a hair. Yeah, I think Ricky gets robbed for this one. But at the same time, I love the additional range factor. Case dismissed. Move on. You already picked. He just wants it now. Please give it to me. Yeah, I think we'll give it to Andy Greenberg. We'll take the submitted player over Ricky Johnson. Ricky Johnson will win it next year. I promise you guys that he'll win it next year. All right, second base. Nicholas Bluer, 3.8 zone rating, 1.149 efficiency. Let's see if someone else can beat that number. Dante Robinson. Oh my gosh. 4.09 range factor, 5.6 zone rating, 1.158 efficiency. Oh my gosh, Dante, please. Please don't make this easy. All right, third baseman, because that literally was that easy. Simon Peter. 3.6 zone rating, 1.89 range factor, 1.139 efficiency, no errors, 52 assists, 11 putouts. That looks mighty impressive right about there. Stephanie Morgan had a good season. It looks like, anybody else have a chance, though? Okay, Tony Delvecchio would be the only other person on this list. Tony Delvecchio, Kirk Reeder's not too bad. The range factor's good, but the zone rating was not as good, and he had 4 errors. I think it's gotta be Simon Peter. That zone rating, the efficiency, the errors, that's really good. This league does utilize closers, actually. Yes. This league absolutely utilizes closers. So I think for third base, we're going to go with Simon Peter. Because that's a great option right there. He had a fantastic season at third. Did flawless third base ability. Had a great zone rating. That's perfect. That's exactly what you're looking for right there. All right. Shortstops. This is where it's going to get a little bit interesting. You have people like Kaz Cappy. 4.59 range factor. 4.8 zone rating. Then you've got Nomar. 5.4 zone rating. 4.52 range factor. Did anybody get anything better than 5.4 on that zone rating? No, I see a lot of negatives 5s. So it's basically Nomar Garciaparra or Kaz Cappy. Can Kaz Cappy get both the Silver Slugger and the Gold Glove? Andrew Fox, unfortunately, did not have a really good zone rating. Negative 1.3. So, unfortunately, I don't think it's going to be Andrew Fox. I think it's Nomar Garciaparra or Kaz Cappy. I don't know why you didn't defend well. You have the arm and the range, but just the results of the season did not come through. But then again, there were a couple of people that were just really good. Yeah, Kaz Cappy had no errors. So it has to be Kaz Cappy. Kaz has to win it. A flawless performance from Kaz Cappy. 14 double plays. Better efficiency. A little bit less on the zone rating, but better on the range factor. The flawless, airless season. And Kaz Cappy wins both. I believe she's going to, he or she, I think it's a she, but I think it's also just a he. So I don't know. Kaz Cappy's going to win Silver Slugger and potentially Gold Glove in the same season. That's impressive. All right. Left field. Left fielders, Tom Riddle's looking pretty good. 1.118 efficiency, 2.5 zone rating, 1.36 range factor. Range factor for Greg Vaughn was actually really good. Wow, Kathy Wolf. Oh, man. 1.182 efficiency, 4.0 zone rating. That is by far the best zone rating. Even though her range factor wasn't as good and she had 1 air, that zone rating is ridiculous. Wow. It's gotta be Kathy. It's gotta be Kathy. It would be nice if starting pitchers had a very small number of points to add to their fielding, hitting, hold runners, or speed to add variety. Yeah, but then I've got to have a really complex form that has different submission levels for starting pitchers. I'll think about that, T-Rexus. I'll think about that. Maybe I will down the road. All right, center fielders. It's got to be Pete Wheeler. It's got to be Pete Wheeler. We saw his Gold Glove in center field all season long. 9.1 zone rating, ridiculous numbers for Pete Wheeler, putting people like Star Moonbeam to shame. Oh gosh, yeah, not even a question. Pete Wheeler. Moving on. Right field. Who are we gonna pick for right field? Are we thinking Will Smith? Will Smith had a pretty good season. Bobby Bacon Bits. Oh my gosh. I didn't expect to see that scrolling up. So the Toronto Giants and Bobby Bacon Bits. That's a shoo-in. No errors, 1.56 range factor, 2.1 zone rating, and a 1.105 efficiency. Yeah, that's an instant win right about there. Absolutely. Absolutely a win right there for Bacon Bits. All right. Really fast, before we do anything else, let me make sure that you guys have given your guys' chances to be able to vote. Voting on Batter of the Year, Pitcher of the Year, and Twitch Chat's Pog Player Name of the Year. If you have not gotten your vote in, please do get your vote in for those contests. We'll be giving away those awards to the winners here in a second. And I can rest it. It's not even close on one of them. It's very close. In fact, it's tied on one of them. So I actually could use a couple more responses from people, please. I can't award 2 winners. I just can't. Unless I have to do the final vote. So if you haven't gotten your votes in for the 3 awards that we're going to be talking about in a couple minutes here, please do get your votes in. We're at 46 submissions. 47. There we go. Oh, no. I said break the tie, not make it a 3-way tie. How did you guys interpret the break a tie into, no, make it a 3-way? Oh, my gosh. Why, guys? Why are you guys like this? Come on. Come on. Why are you guys like this? I said break the tie. Break the tie. Oh, my gosh. We had a 2-way tie for the Pog Name of the Year. Someone voted, and now it's a 3-way tie. Oh, my gosh. There we go. That broke it. There we go. And now it's tied again. And it's not broken. It's everyone make it a 4-way tie. I mean, if you guys wanted a 4-way tie, Dandruff would need more votes. Oh man. Otherwise, the other 2 categories, Batter of the Year and Pitcher of the Year, are both pretty much landslide votes. We're getting some votes for some people that I didn't expect, but it's definitely been pretty solid. It's been a pretty solid response from people, at least, especially in the pitcher of the year category. That's a shoo-in. All right, so let me go ahead and show this off to you guys so we can go ahead and get it started. So, I'll keep this up on screen so you guys can see it. Dandruff is head and shoulders above the rest. Oh my gosh. You guys are ridiculous. You know that? All right. Let me scroll down a little bit so you guys don't see everything. All right. So let me see if I can get all this. Yeah, there we go. On one page. There we go. All right. These are your vote tallies so far. We have 53 responses. So far, Ken Griffey Jr. holds a 56.6% lead in the Batter of the Year contest. Pitcher of the Year is a resounding victory for Benjamin Abenduct, who pretty much was going to carry that away. Like, that was really not a contest. We got a couple votes for Gagne, couple votes for Pedro Martinez, one for Jay Green. But, yeah, it was just hard to compete against Abenduct. And then the big one down below, you guys can see it's still tied. The Twitch Chat's Pog Name of the Year is a split tie between He Who Must Not Be Named, and Isosceles Triangle, I believe. Yeah. So we originally had Bacon Bits was actually on that list as well. Tied between all of those responses. So if you need to still vote, He Who Must Not Get Hits. Dandruff. Yes, Dandruff is still in the conversation as well, coming in a very close fourth. I mean, I liked Pico de Gallo. I liked that one too. If you haven't voted on these, please do. We're at 53 submissions. I do technically need to break this tie. Oh, Steam. Push Bobby over the top. Isosceles not the same as... Oh, it really? Wait, did I... Oh! Have I been saying it's wrong the entire time? Didn't pick up on dandruff. Oh my gosh. You know who, so I had to vote for him. Oh, good grief. Have I been saying that wrong the entire time? It's not Isosceles? Or is it just misspelled? Is that the problem? Is it just misspelled? It might just be misspelled. Anywho, guys, let me go ahead and get this all set up for voting. Let me take away the monitor real fast. So I'll keep an eye on those votes. Please submit your votes if you haven't gotten your votes submitted. We do need to break that tie. So... yeah, Fabex gotten 7 votes, which is surprising, but you had a good season. Like, all things considered, you had a good season. It's a pun on Isosceles. Okay. I thought it would be just a pun thing at that point. Oh, I just dropped a bunch of frames. My apologies about that. But yeah, if you guys have not voted, if you are in chat and you have not voted on those last 3 awards, please go ahead and do that. I think we're going to go ahead and set up for the winners, though, at least for the couple of categories we have. Ken Griffey Jr. is going to be our Batter of the Year. Benjamin Abenduct, our Pitcher of the Year. All right, so we're just waiting for Twitch Chat's Pog Player of the Year. Let me see if I can change that really fast while we're waiting. Actually, it's supposed to be Name of the Year. There. Twitch Chat's Pog Name of the Year. Make sure I didn't lose stuff now. Good. All right. It's final. The final tally has come through. Oh wait, I'm sorry. Tom Riddle, he who must not be named, is not part of that. My apologies. I misread the colors. My eyes are that bad, guys. It was actually a tie between Isosceles Triangle and Pico de Gallo. My apologies for misinterpreting that. But I'm going to go ahead and call it. It has been called. We are over. It is over. And the winner is going to be Pico de Gallo. Congratulations to Pico. Fantastic season from a fantastic name. So our winners are going to be, for the batter of the year, I believe we're going to be seeing Ken Griffey Jr. taking home the contest there. Pitcher of the year is going to be Benjamin Abinduct. Twitch chat's Pog name of the year goes to Pico de Gallo. Spicy pick about there. Silver Sluggers go to Jay Green, Mike Piazza, Jay Mills, Greg Peters, Kirk Reeder, Kaz Cappy, Luke Gofanen, Ken Griffey Jr., Vladimir Guerrero Sr., and Gold Gloves go to Leo Wayne, Ivan Rodriguez, Andy Greenberg, Dante Robinson, Simon Peter, Kaz Cappy, Kathy Wolf, Pete Wheeler, and Bobby Bacon Bits. How many submitted players got awards? I think about 10. We've got Andy Greenberg as a submitted player, Simon Peters as a submitted player, Kaz Cappy gets both Silver Slugger and Gold Glove at shortstop. Bobby Bacon Bits gets Gold Glove in right field. He's a submitted player. Jay Mills is the submitted first baseman. Peters is a submitted second baseman. Reeder's a submitted third baseman. Gofanen's a submitted left fielder. Twitch chat, Pico de Gallo, of course, submitted player right about there. Pitcher of the year is a submitted player, and that is everything, ladies and gentlemen. That is all of our award selections. In fact, I think I actually need to do manual award selections. My apologies. Hold on. I need to make these official. So we need to go to... I am so behind now. Outfielders, please. I need Ken. Where's Ken? Ken, where are you? Ken gets batter of the year. Pitcher of the year goes. Let me see if I can go back to all players really fast here. Get back down to my guy. Where are you? Pitcher of the year. We're not having reliever of the year. We don't have an award for that. And I gotta remember all my other stuff now, unfortunately. Dab nabbit. I might have to take a picture of it really fast. But either way, I will get all those done. I'll get them all done off stream, guys. So that way all those people get the awards. Silver Sluggers, Gold Glovers, the people who we put up in everything. But anywho, those are your winners for Season 1, ladies and gentlemen, for the Backyard Project. Thank you so much for all of the votes in that little contest. And also, thank you for all the submissions that have come in so far for Season 2. If you have not gotten a submission in for Season 2 and you are interested in doing that, please type in chat !backyard submit, all one word. And you can get the link to be able to submit that character. 9, 10 if Cappy counts twice. That is true. Yeah, if Cappy counts twice, you might have 9 or 10 submitted players being able to get awards. So it was a good year all around, guys. This is our recap. If you guys have any questions or want to see anything about Season 1, go for it, because this is going to be potentially the last time that we're going to be reviewing Season 1 before we head into Season 2. We have a lot of stuff to do for Season 2. We already have 112 submissions for Season 2. So thank you guys. That almost matches our amount of submissions for Season 1 already. So I've got a lot of work ahead of me now officially. But either way, guys, it's been 2 hours. That's about exactly where I wanted to end for today's stream. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys have any questions about Season 1, please let me know right now before we end our stream, because I can review stuff for like 5 or 10 minutes. And then we have to end this. But otherwise, guys, that's it. That is Season 1 in the books. The awards have been tallied. I'll get those done. Go Dodgers. Ay. If it's really Astros Dodgers in the World Series, I'm gonna just wait till next season. But anywho, that's pretty much it, guys. That is our season. That's our Season 1. These are your finals for the regular season. Your finals for playoffs look like this. The Memphis Kings, if you didn't catch the stream last week, took the finals. They took the last game of the season. A lot of our submitted players were really well designed. I love a lot of your guys' submitted players, if not all of them. I loved all of them personally. If you haven't submitted a player, go submit a player for Season 2. Otherwise, guys, what in real life players will be added for Season 2? Oh, good question. That's a great question. So, what I'm expecting to do, Kazumi, for pro players for Season 2, I think we're going to take franchise figureheads from 2020 and put those into Season 2. So we're going to have modern players now. So we're going to bring in people like Nolan Arenado, people like Mike Trout, people like, who else would I say would be good options for that? Can we vote on the franchise figureheads? Ooh, that's a good question. Sure. I could make a form for you guys to be able to do that with. Yeah. No Braves. People don't want the Braves. Dodgers and Tampa Bay in the finals. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. But yeah, for pro players, do something quick next Saturday to talk about. Well, I mean, we're going to be doing more Science Saturday streams, guys. We'll be going back to our regular Science Saturday streams for a couple of weeks, which is going to be, I believe, 3 weeks. Or 2. At least 2. 2 weeks of Science Saturday streams. We'll be doing more tutorials, lessons, and science stuff. And then we'll come back with more Backyard Project in the first week of November. Well, we're not going to do Faces of the franchise, Tohan. We're going to do modern, live players. So the best of, each team right now. So like Ronald Acuna Jr., for the Braves. I don't even know who the D-backs would put in. Ketel Marte, I guess? Like, if Backyard Baseball was to make another game today, who would they import to be their players? That's what we want to go for, are the people of today. Marte or Gallen? Yeah, probably Marte or Gallen. Oh, you were just joking. Okay, all right. Even though I'm no Yankee fan, DJ from them, I don't know about that. I would say Judge. I think Judge would be the person you'd import from the Yankees, all things considered. Either him or potentially, or we can go with Christian Robinson. I mean, I don't know. I'm not gonna judge. Hint, hint about that. But yeah, I think that's what our plan is gonna be for Season 2, is to go with probably about 30 additional pro players to join our original list of pro players. Yeah, Walker would be a solid option number 3. I think the Rockies are definitely Trevor Story or Nolan Arenado. I think Dodgers, it's got to be Cody Bellinger, of course. I got to see if I can find some relief pitchers that we can bring in, because otherwise it's going to be a bunch of hitters. It's just going to be a bunch of hitters. And that could be a problem. You could get Vladdy and Vladdy Jr. Yeah, we could be getting Vladdy and Vladdy Jr. For the Cubbies, it's got to be Rizzo or Bryant. If it's Cubbies, I mean, well, no, it could be Baez, too. The Cubbies have got so many really good, oh, that's right, Dodgers would be Mookie Betts, wouldn't they? Oh, that'd be rough, because I would totally do Bellinger over Betts. I would totally do Bellinger over Betts. Anderson from the Rays, probably. Liam Hendriks for the A's? Yeah, actually, those would probably work right there. Yeah, that'd probably work. Oh, yeah, it would definitely be Yastrzemski for the Giants. Mariners. Yeah, that'd probably be Kyle Lewis right now. No Kershaw Love, unfortunately. I mean, if it's going to be a pitcher, it probably would be Buehler. But, as a Dodgers fan, Betts over Belly. Oh my gosh, dude. If you don't like Bellinger, trade him to Arizona. we'll take the hometown kid. Posey was a non-factor this year. Posey would have been really good like 3 years ago, unfortunately. You don't want to put any of the Phillies relievers in there, that's for sure. Yeah. Actually, yeah, Marco Gonzalez for the Mariners would be pretty good. We could do some future legends and do something like Kelenic or Julio Rodriguez for the Mariners. Maybe. We could do prospects. Padres would be Tatis Jr., of course. Mets would probably, put in Diaz. Yeah, the Mets would probably be Edwin Diaz. Sixto Sanchez might be the Marlins pick. Like, that actually might be their pick. Bogarts for the Red Sox. I don't remember who the Red Sox had really good performances from this season, to be honest. That's how bad of a year the Red Sox had. The Mets would be DeGrom. That's true. The Mets would probably be DeGrom. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, the Mets probably did DeGrom. Anywho, guys, yeah. I rock this is correct. We could be here all day talking about stuff like that. But anywho, guys, I'll be looking into that. I'll get you guys some names. You guys can vote on them for next week. We'll have that ready to go for next week. We'll talk about all that kind of stuff, guys. I don't actually know what next week's Science Saturday is going to be about yet. I'll probably work on that this week so we can have another tutorial about something. It might be back into the feeder league systems we've been working on in the past, or it might be about how to incorporate expansions and league editing. So we'll see about that. But anywho, guys, that is it. That is it for episode 7, which we entitled The Glint of Success. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll get you guys those polls for players to import for Season 2 for professional players. And again, if you have not gotten your player in to the Season 2 submission list, please do. We're up past 100 submissions already. Fantastic work, ladies and gentlemen. I've been such enjoying your guys' submissions and interactions of the stream. Hopefully Season 2 is even better than Season 1. And that's going to be hard to beat because Season 1 was pretty gosh darn good. But anywho, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for watching. I will see you all again next Saturday. Have a great rest of your week. I'll talk to you all later.